that's been kicked in the nuts by fake news. Nobody knows what to believe.
I don't know what I said.
We need one maverick newsman to cut through all the noise and tell us what's really real.
I'm not that guy. Hello. Welcome to Really Real with Richie Redding. I'm Richie Redding. New studio, who dis? And by studio, I mean the catch-all office and Peloton and completely unused treadmill and a sleeper couch in case anybody ever impositions us with wanting to sleep here for some reason. But we're doing it, baby. We're done with the move. Psyched about that. Now we're trying to still squeeze 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound bag. But I have a home still, and things are going great, and I'm happy to be back. We took a week off for Fourth of July, much needed, and we're back at it, stronger than ever, baby. And there's a whole bunch of shit to talk about this week, and I realized right before we started what one of my notes to self was, that I just throughout the week I always leave what I think are going to be really obvious notes, and then when it's actually time to film, what the fuck did I mean by that? Because all I said was Home Depot, and I didn't remember what the funny was of Home Depot. First of all, there's no place, only the bank makes me feel more insecure as a man than Home Depot. Because at the bank, you know that some of those people sitting down at the table or whatever just have so much more fucking money than you do, and you're literally they are literally a more valuable customer than you are, and also I never remember my savings account and my just trying to find that stuff. It just makes me absolutely feel like a little kid. I do still, the one place that I love as an alternative, which makes me feel like a little kid in the good way, is the drive-through, because that suck-uppy machine still goes hard. That still feels like I'm in Buck Rogers or something. It's the I feel like I'm living in the future way back in the past every time I put that thing in there, just suck that bitch up. But yeah, Home Depot, dude, just brings out all the insecurities. I think I told you this before, that my dad was a builder, and he's literally built hundreds of houses, and knows exactly where to go for everything in Home Depot. And then there's always some Mexican dudes in there that are fucking on a mission, and I'm just some dildo that's just wandering around lost. I really do think that there's a great opportunity for a game show like Supermarket Sweep, that people go to Home Depot with a really specific list of stuff, and then the workers just fucking disappear. And that's the that's the whole show, is you got to run around and try to find one of these shitheads to help you. And they're just wearing camouflage and shit, just blending into stuff, just right into the cabinets. But so yeah, it was a full afternoon of looking around for. I had 10 things I needed to find, and they really do scurry like roaches when the lights come on every time you're trying to find somebody in Home Depot. But Bobby, I'll tell you, I'm not sure if it was a curse or a blessing, with rancid gas while I was at Home Depot. And I turned the tables on them, that instead of looking for the ones that were free, it was the people that were with somebody. I would just go 15, 20 feet away from them, drop the hotness, and get out of there and just wait like a serial killer for them to fall into my. I got like 3 people just like But it's also just so good when they're at work and they're still trying to maintain some kind of professionalism, and it's just deviled egg farts to the face. It really did something for me, buddy. I don't know. I walked out of there feeling like we broke even, you know?
Absolutely. You returned the pain and suffering.
Yes, I was bloodied but not bowed, I believe is the terms, in the terms of William Henley. Oh, remind me to, well, okay, I was going to mention this way later in the episode, but rest in peace to a buddy of mine, a guy that was a Penn Crew rower. He took his own life, and it's really fucked up. But you know, it's that type of thing. It was the type of suicide that absolutely nobody understands from like the completely uninformed perspective of it. That it was like he was a dentist. He had a successful practice. He had 2 kids, wife, cars, house, like all that stuff. And there had been a couple negative comments that he made, and his family tried to have an intervention with him. And like in the middle of the intervention, basically, he walked away and did it. And it was extremely fucked up and hard to process. But you know, it's one of those things that if he could see the effect that he had on people and the way that the community in South Jersey came together to rally around his family, probably wouldn't have done it. But I don't know. So it's one of those things. And he was like an acquaintance, you know. But the last time that I saw him, he was with a bunch of other Penn guys that they went to the Atlantic City Comedy Club. And which is hit or miss, leaning towards miss. And this was also, this was the one that was at Kiss Kiss that had like, have you been in there, Bobby?
At Kiss Kiss? Yeah.
It's a 10-foot high stripper stage.
I was going to say, yeah, it was 4 strippers 100%. It's the center of the room. It is the most awkward stage to be on.
Yeah, you're basically, it's on stilts, or it's like, it's the, what was the Indiana Jones shit when when you just have to like take that trust fall out into the cavern, you like just put some dirt on it. So I'm on that thing, and I wanted to have a good set because my buddies were there. It was like the first one was cool, it was whatever, but like I really wanted to kill this one. And this dude that was like right behind them kept jumping in. Like every time there was any kind of silence, he was jumping in and trying to say something. And you know, silence is like the most important part of timing, that beat. I let it slide like 3 times, and then went into destroy this guy mode harder than I have in a really long time, because he was like a 50-year-old weenie with a pretty hot wife with fake tits, and I went in so hard on how his wife wasn't attracted to him and she's fucking somebody else, and he's a loser and he's a cuck and she's using him for his money. She can't wait till he dies. Just all of this shit. And the guy kept talking, and every time he talked, it escalated it further and further. And it was because I happened to have 4 Penn rowers there that were right in front of him. So it turned me into old Richie back in the day of when I was the smallest guy at school, but my friends were the biggest dudes in the fucking school. It was like, and I was the one with the microphone. So it was just talking so much shit to this dude, to the point that that he eventually just sat there like looking away, and the wife is like stroking his shoulder and shit. It was like, it was ugly how hard I went on this dude. And I was like, but I was also so embarrassed by it, and like that I had to do that. Like, it was just fucking embarrassing because, first of all, that club has zero security, and also, like, if something happened, it's like you're basically just on your own in that environment. But,
you gotta last for the minute and a half it's gonna take Buddha to run to the stage to save you.
Right, or Allah or Jesus, but so afterwards it was like I waved those guys over, but they thought it was because I just wanted to huddle, but it was also like keep this fucking guy away from me type thing, and Joel was like. The guy who we buried last week, Joel was so thrilled about it, and I think the other guys had all seen me before, and he was the only one that had it, and I was like literally like apologetic. I was like, guys, I'm so sorry you had to see that, and Joel was like, you do this every night? Like, this is what you do? You get to just destroy guys for a living? This is the greatest job I've ever seen. I was like, dude, no, I swear to you, like, I do just regular comedy. Like, I write stuff, and then I talk about it. He's like, dude, this is way better. Just fucking destroying people. Like, imagine if that was actually the job. Just antagonizing people and then telling their wife hates them for fucking an hour a night. But yeah, man, it was there was the dude was absolutely tenacious, and he was a perfectionist, and all these things that can also kind of eat at people and turn their mind against them. But there was one thing that it was a missed chance of an allegory that. Somebody that was like eulogizing him mentioned that he was the cut man for all of Margate, that like if a firefighter, lifeguard, or anybody got cut, he would stitch them up. Even if it wasn't a mouth, it was like whatever, he was still a doctor, he would stitch them up. And he cut himself one time while he was slicing, with a knife, and he was so tough that he stitched his own hand up, and then it went fine until he realized at the end that he couldn't tie it, because it's really hard to tie your own knot in your stitches. And it was just there was such a moment there, I thought, of a takeaway of like, you don't have to do your own stitches, man. And it's good to have community, good to have people that you can count on and not always be the one with the answers. So rest in peace to a real one. And also, I will say that if you know me, you know that I love seeing people bomb in non-comedy situations. I do believe, there was a bunch of speakers and a bunch of presenters, and I do believe that I saw my first funeral bomb. And I was pretty pumped on it, if we're being honest. And a guy that I'm friends with, it was one of Joel's best friends. He did an amazing job, and then it was time for some dentist friends of his to get up and speak about their time in dental school, and I knew, okay, so. The first sign that we might be in for a bomb treat was that the first thing that this guy did, who was like a hip-hop Indian butt doctor, hip-hop Indian dentist, it was straight up Aziz.
Give it up for Randy.
Yeah, exactly. So he goes up and he gets behind the podium lectern thingy. The first thing that he does is he starts to like jostle with the mic to get it out from behind, like so he could like walk, and he's walking and talking, and he's got all the energy and panache of somebody that's at fucking Shark Tank. And I was immediately just like, yes. He did like 3 little turns of the room, like it was just like, I'm about to make this about me. So he walks the stage back and forth, and starts off with a poem quote, which is always a great move if you have to give a heavy speech. But maybe don't start it with, the poet Bobby Frost once said. It's like, really, motherfucker? You just bobbied Robert Frost? And then it was just absolute word salad. Like, it had all the vibes of basically like whenever a girl gives a bridesmaid speech, it was that same type of shit that it was just like, is there punctuation? Is there like, is this a yearbook entry? What is happening? How do we decode this? So yeah, that brought me some comfort, and I hope that guy doesn't watch this. But it'd be wild if he was one of our 32. Like, fuck, man, we're down to 31 because of Randy.
I think we're up to 45 if you look at the audio listens as well.
Get fucked. All right. Well, thank you, bots. Yeah. So I do want to talk about that. Sorry for the heavy shit, folks, but let's get a little bit lighter, huh? We're still doing IVF. Still paying $10,000 to jack off in the doctor's office, and I noticed myself doing a thing yesterday which I haven't before, which is that I was looking at the other dudes in the doctor's office and getting competitive. That I put myself. There was 5 guys in there, and I put myself at second best jizz. That like there was one guy. He was like 28, he was 6'3", he does CrossFit. Clearly, that guy's got a sweet load on him. But those other guys, I think I got him. One had a little bit of a limp, so I'm just assuming his sperms are going to go a little sideways. There's no way them shits are swimming straight.
Now, when you say competitive with your coming, are you thinking like best dog in show, so you like look at the sperm cells individually, or is it like the Olympics where you've got all the different events leading to one score?
Yeah, no, it's not for distance. No, I'm viewing it in terms of what our possible success rate is going to be with making us a baby. Okay,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think instead of a best in show, I think it would be you would give the awards out more like they do in like the Tour de France, where there's the king in the mountains, there's the sprinter, the best breakaway. There's just that one jizz that just fucking goes. But yeah, I've gotten quite adroit at getting it into the cup. It also made me think, it's definitely a problem, like having comedy brain when you're doing something medical, like jerking off in a cup. Because I think you might have seen it. I've already got like an 8-minute long bit about it. But I do wonder what happens if a dude's just got a real Darth Vader of a helmet on him. Because
oh God, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, look, you're getting it. You're going head in the cup for the most part, right?
I mean, if maybe you are, I'm shooting threes.
You just
yeah.
put the shot glass in your
exactly.
mouth. Yeah, put yourself in the wheelbarrow. In Nigeria, I wonder if they just use fucking mason jars. Sorry, Twiz, for bringing up that painful stereotype. Stop making fun of my gigantic penis. Other housekeeping was that, I had a bit on Instagram that probably did better than anything else that I've ever posted. It's got like over 100,000 views on it. And there's like 150 comments that the culture war completely unfolded in the middle of the comments for this thing, and it turned it into the biggest bummer in the world that like people can really just fucking ruin absolutely anything right now. And I mean, you know, it was supposed to be the simple fun and joy of making fun of priest fucking kids, but they had to turn it into Republicans versus Democrats, as if there's really one party that has that locked down. Bobby, did you disappear? Where are you, Bobby?
Sorry, Zoom locked
Oh.
on my phone. I'm sorry. You know me, I can't stand for these political jokes about priests molesting kids.
Dude, it took about 70 comments before I tapped out because I was just like keeping track of it. Well, some of them are straight up like Q dogs that it's like not funny. This is just not funny. Like, all right, take it easy. Like you can never talk about children getting molested. Like, sure you can't.
You want to bet?
Yeah, watch me. So, and that's like, all right. So, are you a priest or did you get got, motherfucker? Why are you very so sensitive about this shit? But yeah, it like 70 comments and it turned into, oh yeah, well have you even read the bill regarding blah blah blah? And it was like, all right, reply guys, you've officially knocked all the fun out of this. But speaking
There's
of
a bill
fun,
about priest fucking kids?
no,
I know, that was my point.
right, yeah. No, it turned into like fucking Who's the Groomers and NAMBLA and the LGBTQ plus SIA 2S. They've distanced themselves and outlawed NAMBLA. Like, yeah, of course they fucking have, you psychos. But I don't know, somehow
pedophiles don't just join one political party. They might be in both or on both sides. Imagine that.
Yeah.
They might just be
Yeah.
everywhere. Who knows?
Yeah, they might walk amongst us. It's the elite. It is a bizarre thing though that we now associate billionaires with pedophiles, right? That like
Yeah.
like I've literally heard somebody say that like when the Epstein thing happened, there's like two chicks from the Bronx on the train, and they're having this profound conversation that the one's like, yo, I heard like in order to be a billionaire, like you gotta do that shit. Like they make you fuck a kid if you wanna be a billionaire. It's like, that's not how it works. Like, do you see that third comma in your ATM receipt? And you're just like, to the playground. It's just, so fucking weird. But all right, let's cleanse our palate of this. Bobby, somehow this came up in my feed like 1,000 times in the last 2 days. What's going on in Philly?
Let's
Can we
find
get
out.
that? That guy stuck doing graffiti is the most fun one. But this guy coming through. So, just hold on a second. First of all, this has to be in Kensington. Like, say what's happening in Philly, and it's like, and showing this. I mean, that's the equivalent of saying, like, you know, what's going on in California, and it just shows, like, somebody getting raped in San Quentin. Like, that's not all of California. There's nicer parts of California than the very specific San Quentin gang rapes. But just watch that thing again and how normal this one dude looks when he comes rolling through. Okay, everybody's fucked. Everybody's fucked. This guy's trying to get up. Can't get there. This guy's stuck in the middle of graffiti on the left. If this is the healthiest dude on your street, that guy coming through, the guy that on any other street in America is going to be an absolute disaster.
With
All of a
two
sudden, it's like-
hypodermic needles in his hand and a bloody, what I can only assume is botched hypodermic injection site.
Did he have two needles?
He's got two in one hand. Yeah, if you watch it, we'll watch it one more time.
Yeah, I didn't peep that.
Look at his left hand.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Good job, Bobby. Yeah, I don't. Something tells me that that bandage on his left hand is not because he just gave blood. Dude, I know guys from meetings and stuff, from doing the old group therapy, that were like 70s and 80s winos, and they were like dead broke. And I think it was like twice a week you were allowed to give plasma, or maybe it was once a week. Like, yeah, it's not giving blood. Giving blood gets you like $10, but plasma gets you like 40 or something like that.
Yep.
It's a way better hustle if you can give your plasma. And they said you just get fucked up drunk. It's like they all say it's like that day. It's like you've never been drunk before. You're just that hammered. That's really varsity level shit. That when you go beyond empty tummy drinking, like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some leeches involved.
I have a buddy. He unloads trucks at Dick's, and he donates plasma every Friday, so he gets the $50, spends that on a 24-pack of Miller Lite, and drinks that from Friday until Saturday night, so he can sleep it off Sunday and get back to work Monday.
Hell yeah. I think we should, maybe revisit that. You got a buddy whose job is unloading dicks, but
Hey man, now we're stepping on bits. Stepping on bits.
We're doing name jokes. Dude, in South Jersey, there's a complex, like a shopping complex that has BJ's, Dick's, and Siemens, all in the same complex. You can't beat that. But yeah, so and he can, so you can do it once a week.
Yeah, you can.
Are they not paying this fucking guy at Dick's? Does he only work Fridays or something?
No. So he works Monday through Friday, but he takes that $50 and that's his money for the weekend. He spends it all on beer, and then whatever he makes at Dick's just goes to rent and other expenses. And
God
it's a
damn it,
pyramid scheme now, because if you bring in somebody, every time they donate, you get an extra 10.
No way.
So like, yeah,
ongoing.
Yeah,
it's
so
an MLM with plasma.
Yep, as long as they keep donating, you keep making money. And so, like, if you're a new employee at Dick's, the first thing he's like is, "Hey, you want to make an extra $50 every week? I got a good job for you."
No way. And that stuff has to be worth 100 times what they're paying for it, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I think we did cover that at some point. Didn't we look into
the markup is nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, there's right, and the plasma places are always in fucked up neighborhoods.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, that's what it was. It's literally like rich people are sucking the blood of the
Exactly.
poor now. But the poor are getting shit-faced. So
what's even crazier is platelets. So, like, what it takes to clot blood. My dad used to get that all the time because he knows how bad of a need there is, and they would just show bootleg movies at the place they would do it because they have to, like, take it, spin all your blood out, get the platelets, and they give you your blood back. But this place would just, like, steal movies. It would be somebody would go in and film whatever the hot movie was, and that's how they lured all these people in the poor part of town to come.
So it's like watching Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, exactly. But they're like, yo, you want to see the new hot movie for free? Come give us your blood. And, people just line up.
Oh, fuck me. We are really toast. But on the other hand, Bobby, the Secret Service has closed the investigation into trying to find who dropped that pesky cocaine. Dude, it is so wild. The Secret Service officially combed through security systems and indexed several hundred individuals who entered the West Wing in the days preceding the discovery and were unable to identify a suspect, according to the USSS statement. The Secret Service said FBI lab results from the package found insufficient DNA and could not retrieve any fingerprints. Therefore, the Secret Service is not able to compare evidence against the known pool of individuals. Is there an easier crime to solve if you wanted to than taking that camera, which has to be pretty HD at this point, right? Even if it's a Ring camera. Then again, I don't know. The White House did supposedly, like, when Clinton got into the office, do you ever hear this? When Clinton first moved into office, which was, I guess, 92, anywhere in the White House, if you were anywhere in the West Wing, if you picked up the phone, you might hear Clinton on the line. That they didn't have, there was no like dedicated few lines that only went to the president's office. It was just like a party line.
That seems like
So it'd
the
be like-
worst.
Yeah, so it'd be like when you're flirting with some chick and your mom picks up. Right? So there is a chance that but even if it's 15 years behind at this point, like they could still get a halfway decent camera. Is there an easier crime to solve than pointing a camera at one exact spot and watching there not be cocaine? There's not cocaine. There's not cocaine. There's cocaine. That's the whole case that you got to solve here. Just couldn't do it.
You've worked regular jobs, Richie, right? Mm-hmm. If somebody found
Nick.
cocaine at your job, what would happen if they could not identify what individuals it was? Wouldn't they just piss test everybody real quick, see who had cocaine in their system, and then fire that individual?
Yeah, but no, I mean, it is possible that there was hundreds of people that came through. There's reporters and all that shit.
Yeah, no, it'd be...
There's a bunch of Bidens.
Right.
Right.
I'm saying anybody who
But no,
objects, I think I know who to investigate.
But you can't legally subject people to like that many people to a piss test. You could with the staff, but yeah, I mean, my first thought was that it's a cover up for the Bidens, or probably more likely that wonder if one of the it could be one of the Secret Service guys, right?
Yeah.
It seems like they would be more likely to shut down an investigation if it led to we have one of our agents on camera dropping that shit. Because I mean, during the Obama years, those dudes were caught getting loose down in Brazil, right? They got caught with cocaine and hookers. It was like the advance team that they sent down a few days early. And it's like, oh, who cares? But then when you look at it, it's like, oh yeah, they could really be compromised, or they could get drugged by these girls, or these chicks could plant shit on them, and blah blah blah. It's not great. Or you could compromise one of them or whatever, right? Yeah. But yeah, it reminded me of two things. That I was on a plane one time going to San Francisco, and did I ever tell you the story?
No, we haven't heard it.
Yeah, I was taking a buddy, or I was going to hang out for like a week with a buddy, and I was loaded for bear. I had 2 8-balls in my underpants, and decided to blast off early. So like as soon as I got on the plane, went to the bathroom and did a bunch of key bumps. And this is post 9/11. And I mean, what a horrible idea. Cocaine on a plane is it's up there with blow and fishing. You know, like let's get fucking zooted and sit still. But so I go like with a couple hours left, and I'm getting drinks in me and all that shit. With a couple hours left, I go back to the bathroom to do more, and there's only 1 8-ball in my underwear. Like, oh my god, like looking all over the place. So geeked, I go out. Of course, I still dip into that 8-ball, but I go back to my seat and just eyes peeled, just looking all over, trying to find this thing. And I've got a mom in front of me and a mom to the right of me, and I'm just doing this shit under the seat, like trying to feel around with my feet and shit. And the one next to me is like, "Oh my God, you need help with something?" Like, no, 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 I'll get it. I'll get it. Just never turned up. But the far more entertaining one was that a buddy of mine, it was like friend of a friend, but I went down to Virginia Beach, and my buddy had this. He has a lot of fancy friends. Amongst them is a Virginia senator's son, and again, loaded for bear all the time. At this point in my life, all the time. You know, there's a reason I got sober, folks. And I've got a bunch of this is pre-Molly days, just old school e-pills on me. And I start out with like a dozen of them or something, and I think the numbers were like 4 of us all had 2 of them in us. So we're rolling at this party, and it's a Republican senator. So, and nobody goes harder than Republican wasps at like just on some straight drinking shit. They go for it, right? So they're off like getting tuned up. And I just realized we need to cut this out, Bobby. Sorry. And yeah, of the background, listeners, I was pointing to something. And so me and a buddy go, and it's like this catered event and shit. Me and a buddy go to find more of them. And it's like, dude, I can't find them. It's like, what? I can't fucking find them. I don't know where they are. So rolling, we had to go around this party, like just moving rich old ladies around with a crazy amount of work done while looking for felony scheduled drugs at their shitty Republican party. Good times. I think I told that on here before, but
did you find it?
Never found it, which makes me. My thinking is that what I like to think is that one of the caterers found it, and they pushed off immediately.
As they should.
Yeah, immediately. But what else did I want to talk about, Bobo? Oh yeah, this was a very fun thing that we didn't hear anything about other than this, which is just such a great headline of Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen dined on psychedelic mushrooms in China. Report. What a trip. Magic mushrooms may have been to blame for Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen's mortifying bow before a Chinese official last week. Yellen, 76, gobbled 4 portions of Jianshu King. If that was right, and I can just read Chinese now, that was phenomenal. When she dropped it at a casual Beijing restaurant soon after she arrived there on July 6, Chinese state media reported in an effusive story that took care to praise the secretary's chopstick skills. But the funky fungi are known in their native province of Yunnan for their unpredictable psychedelic effects. You thought you were walking straight, but you just fell sideways, one gourmand told the Xinhua. I'm Chinese now. The Xinhua state news agency in a report about the shroom's potent powers, published only after Yellen departed. I have a friend who mistakenly ate them and hallucinated for 3 days. Dr. Peter Mortimer, a professor of cumming, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, there's no... They ran this story about her eating these things, and there's no there's no comments from her about if she wound up hallucinating or not. But like, it's coming from the weird thing is that it's coming from the New York Post, which is like pretty right leaning. So was it a way to get people to actually care about the fact that a Democrat made a mistake like that? Because that's definitely one thing that was like that's such a ridiculous double standard that you see the remember when Biden stood in front of when Trump stood in front of the Queen, and there was 1,000 articles about the breaking of norms and American president. Nobody stands in front of the Queen. And then there's all these pictures of Biden just scratching his balls and like shaking hands with people that aren't there in front of the Queen and in front of the Prince or the King now. Nobody gives a fuck.
He shit himself in front of the Pope.
Classic. That's never been confirmed, but it is absolutely hilarious to think that he might have shitted his doo-doo ass in front of the Pope.
If you were him, wouldn't you take credit for that?
I don't know. Do you take credit if you pooped on the Pope? Because he's Catholic, too.
Not anymore.
Well, I mean, you just to claim it was like divine intervention.
They excommunicated him shortly thereafter. They said it had nothing to do with the other. It was all about abortion, but I know what really happened.
Just kicked out. That's hilarious. Actually, dude, that was a story that I wanted to look up that I completely forgot about somehow. Joe Jonas recalls the time that he pooped his pants wearing white pants on stage. And then I've got 1,000 ad blockers that are... in 2019, Joe Jonas, one of the Jonas brothers, shit himself on stage in white pants. That is a tough one, brother.
Joe Jonas just couldn't hold it anymore. For years, the actor and singer has kept a secret, a gastrointestinal mishap he once had on stage. But the Jonas Brother confessed for the first time on a recent airing of Will and Woody radio show that he had an accident while wearing his white pants about 4 years ago. When asked to share a story he's never made public, the 33-year-old revealed that he was recently talking to friends about the last time they soiled their pants. The incident caused him to do a mid-set wardrobe change. Let's just say it was a bad day to choose to wear white clothing. You think it might have been a little something else, a little something extra, he said. So that's a story I've never told. And also, that's just the real life.
The real takeaway here is dudes should never, ever wear white pants. That's a bad bitch move. That there is no man ass that belongs in white pants. I feel like he's probably had a thong on, so I just cut the turd in half. Just went in separate ways. Classic Jonas brother.
God. We used to have trouble because we would wear white football pants, and so many guys would take like pre-workout or chug an energy drink right before the game that it became a real issue that we just wore blue pants year round.
Really?
Yeah, because once you're on the field, you can't get back in the locker room.
Right, but so many poops, you guys are like, we need to...
Coach, does it really make a difference
things.
if we wear white pants for the home games? Let's just wear blue year round. I'm tired of looking at Trent's shitty ass.
Right, just go brown at that point, though, right?
That wasn't even the school color, but if we could get away with it, I would have. I mean, we were 4 and 6. It's not like anybody really cared.
You guys were, it's yellow and blue colors, and sporting their uncustomary brown.
Exactly.
The doo-doo brown. But, I pooped my pants on a date one time. That was heavy. I think, I was actually, I met some girl at a bar, and I hadn't eaten. I was pretty strung out at this point. I hadn't eaten all day because I was doing coke at work, and then had a couple beers, and I ordered dinner with hopes of trying to eat it, even though like the roof of my mouth used to be all fucked up. And I was in line. There was a whole bunch of girls in line, and it was just like, "Hey, fella, let's fart." and I did just that, but And this is why you don't wear white pants, Jonas. Joe Jonas. It was miraculously, it was just all caught by the undies. So whoever was in there after me, there was like, it was a very full trash can. There was just like, I did my best to just tie off boxer briefs. It just made like the diaper bomb of poop in there. So, and I was also such a horny savage that I still wound up like making out with that girl. and it was like, oh yeah, let's go back to my place. I want to take a shower right away. So I just raced to the shower, and somehow this girl didn't smell doo-doo on me. But yeah. Anyway, the Janet Yellen thing is so fucking weird and kind of interesting that they ran this thing in the first place, because it is such a non-story, right? That it's like, what did she trip from it? We don't know. Like, she ate these possibly psychedelic things, but and then again, I honestly think it's just a way to try to make people care about this goofy bow that not a single American gives one piece of a fuck about. Do you have that video that did I put a link in there of her doing this goofy ass bow?
Let's see. No.
No, okay, don't worry. It's just her, like, she like, it looks like it's a GIF, but it's just her like hitting the bow a few times. It is very fun to think about it if she's completely fucked up, if she was somehow tripping face, but I'm pretty sure at 76 she would just fucking bow out of that, no pun intended, of whatever these meetings are, if she's just suddenly tripping balls. But what was I going to say? Okay, so that reminded me of two great stories. Don't worry about finding that thing, by the way. I had an international relations professor tell me this story in when I was in college that stuck with me. That, like, probably the biggest thing that Nixon accomplished while he was in office was normalizing things with China. And like there was a couple of these really high level meetings that they had. The first one Mao didn't even attend, but they went to China, and one of the cooler things that happened was that Mao's wife gifted Nixon's wife, because like the Chinese and Japanese are both legendary, like, as part of their statecraft, that they give amazing gifts. And Mao's wife gave Nixon's wife 2 pandas. So, like, the pandas at our national zoo were like from them. And fun fact, every panda belongs to China. They only lend them. Like, you don't actually, anywhere in the world, they're still China's. But how sweet is that as a gift? Like, in terms of just something completely untoppable, you have to come up with a dragon. There's nothing cooler. Like, yeah, here's 2 pandas, motherfucker. Yeah, thanks for the cufflinks, shithead. Enjoy these pandas. So much cooler. But they did. They sent an advance team. Like, the White House obviously sends an advance team of like Secret Service guys to go and check out the Chinese setup and like where they were going to be, where the exits are, all that kind of stuff, right? And what kind of food they were going to be served. And they were able to like nix some food items and shit. It was like, yeah, we don't want anything too weird. He's a simple American guy. But the top of the page was, do not drink the fire water. It's I think it's called Buju, something like it. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the Mao Baiju. They literally said it like, this is gasoline. It's their like the way that Russians drink vodka, Chinese nationalists at least used to drink the Baiju. 50% alcohol, at least. It will catch on fire. And they're just like, this stuff tastes like straight up gasoline. Under no circumstances are you to drink this, Mr. President. Right? Because you're going to get so fucked up. So they do the state dinner, and Mao's there, and they like he queefs all over himself because they all have to give a toast. And first of all, they give it to Nixon, and he's just putting it to his lips, and he's not actually doing anything with it. And like Mao saw it and gave him a look like you're a bitch, not drinking this shit. And they have a private meeting where it's just the two of them, and they're not getting anywhere, right? And Mao's just like completely stonewalling him, and then just like when this thing is about to completely fall apart, as his aides think that he's about to call it, Nixon just goes, "Two bajus." They come before they even take him. He goes, "Two more." Nixon and Mao just start fucking banging back shots of this gasoline. And they had an unknown amount of shots, but it was supposedly a bunch. And the two of them sat by the fire and just talked it out, laughed their balls off, and wind up signing like the international détente that was what completely normalized or completely changed the U.S. relations with China. And little frat guy diplomacy right there, brother. Plus, just the sheer size of Nixon versus Mao has to give him some kind of drinking reserve. Right?
Absolutely, right?
Yeah. But, and that story has forever reminded me of one of the greater things that my buddies have pulled off, which was the same guys involved in the Rolling in Virginia story were right after college. They signed up for Operation Smile, which is the nonprofit that has at the time what they do is it's the nonprofit that fixes facial deformities in third world countries, and it's kids with it's a lot of cleft palates and shit like that. And at the time, they had I think it was a 757 that had been converted into a world-class plastic surgery hospital. So they fly in world-class surgeons, and their job was to scout the locations, get the information out that they had this life-changing surgery that they could get for free, and then just as importantly, get the stuff out. And they said it was really interesting in China because a lot of the countries were always and it was the more probably dictatorial the country was, the more likely they were to not have a problem. Just like there's no gays in Russia. Yeah, there's none here. But the Chinese officials were like, yeah, we don't need that. We don't have any problems with that. But the facial deformities come from impurities in the water supply. So where is more likely, or who's a better candidate than China for that? So they had to go considerably earlier in China than anywhere else to get the word out, because the officials wouldn't help get the word out. So, and this is before internet, it was just signs and shit. And it was we'll fix cleft palates. And they said it was just overwhelming, the amount of people that are literally coming out from the mountains, and they've got these kids with these these horrible deformities. But and so it was that, and also they had to keep their hands in their pockets all the time, because poor people would run up to them and try to put a daughter in their hands, in particular.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because it was it was still the vestiges of the one-child policy, so they would just try to fucking hit you with a daughter and run away. So sad as shit, right? But they do their thing, and they have this extremely successful mission of they fix just a shitload of kids, change their lives for the better. But when it comes time to leave, because they got there earlier than they usually do, they had overstayed what the original agreement was, and China's yeah, you can go, but we're keeping the plane. like, yeah, we can't walk away from this plane, and it keeps heightening and ratcheting up that like this thing could very well turn into an international incident where China is trying to seize the multi-million-dollar plane of this nonprofit. And the two people standing between that happening are a 23 and 24-year-old frat guy, respectively, two fucking buttheads that I used to row with, right? That who go by Ennis and Sloppy. Sloppy is now a surgeon. So they have this like final meeting, and China's all about like respect for the boss, you know, and like the bigger the boss, like the more the respect that they get, but also the shittier the reign, like the more people like, you know, like the smaller the dominion. That's what I'm saying. It's the more people in that tiny little dominion genuflect to them like they're some kind of king. So the challenge for them was that they had to get this thing signed off by the mayor, and it was the only way that they can get this out is if the mayor signs off. So they're at this lunch, and the Chinese always start off with the fire water, right? They make them drink the baijiu, and they choke this shit down, and the Chinese guys are laughing at my buddies because they make a face for the baijiu, and I remind you, they're 23, 24, and Sloppy looks at Ennis and goes, "Shotgun?" Ennis goes, "Shotgun. Shotgun? Shotgun." And I start looking around the table like, "Shotgun? Shotgun?" And the Chinese are always like, "Shotgun, shotgun." Right? They're like translating what is shotgun, and they explain to them how to shotgun a beer. And the mayor winds up sending out like his page or whatever into the town, and he comes back with like just a rack of cans of beer. These two dickheads set up a tournament of, and first of all, Ennis in particular is an animal of a drinker. You know, he's good for 20 beers if he wants to put them away. Can just eat a beer by shotgunning it. So he pulls a rope-a-dope. Like, he's the guy to beat. They set up a tournament, literally like a Sweet 16 style tournament, so that and everybody's taking a dive to the mayor on the other side. They're just queefing it all over themselves. It winds up like 30 minutes later, there's a bunch of Chinese guys with ties around their head and shit. It's like it's the equivalent of lampshade on the head stuff at work. And it comes down, they've got the stopwatch, and Sloppy's like, he's the hype man for this thing. It's like, it all comes down to this. What's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? Can the mayor beat the big American at 6'3"? And, you know, 3, 2, 1. And Ennis opens his, and he just suddenly just can't drink anymore. It's blah, blah, and this fat old Chinese guy is sucking his down, and Billy's just like looking over like, are you finished yet? And like the mayor throws it down, all the Chinese dudes go crazy, and like literally just some shit out of a movie. They're like, "Oh my god, congratulations, sign this." And the dude's just ecstatic and fucking signs off on this thing, and they like literally just shotgun their way out of having an international incident. And if that's not great frat guy diplomacy, I don't know what the fuck is, people. I'm Richie Redding, and that's really real. Please share, tell people about it, whatever. Tell your mama, tell your son. They raping everybody. I always thank you so much for hanging out. Yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the sharesies, whatever. Do the things. And thank you for people that are just listening. Please follow me on everything. It's at Richie Redding, or better yet, come watch a show, yo. Mostly just stuff in the city. I'm gonna post some dates soon. I've got some stuff around Jersey and Delaware coming up, and a bunch of weird corporate stuff happening in the fall. So thank you so much. Peace.
In a world that's been kicked in the nuts by fake news, nobody knows what to believe.
I don't know what I said.
one maverick newsman to cut through all the noise and tell us what's really real.
I'm not that guy.